Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nadex new platform walkthrough. So I'm going to give you a brief webinar today just showing you how to get around our new platform that we've been working on for quite a while here. Just real quick, my name is Adam McCaden and I'm going to be your presenter today. I've been at Nadex for about 2 years now and I've been working on this new platform for quite a while, so I think I know it fairly well. And before I do jump into everything, I did want to give a quick thank you to all of our developers, our project managers, our early research testers, closed beta testers, and everyone that's helped us so far get the platform to where it is now. Very quickly, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the webinar here. The first screen you're going to see here, I do have to go over a couple disclaimers and disclosures. So this is the risk disclosure. I'll give you a few minutes to go ahead and read through this, but very simply, it's saying that, hey, trading on Nadex or trading anywhere is going to involve financial risk. That financial risk is not appropriate for all investors. Don't use money that you need for something else to actually go ahead and do your trading. You need to be trading with discretionary funds and not money that, for example, you need to pay your rent. So give you just a second here to read through this risk disclosure. All right, and we'll move on. We do have another brief disclaimer here. This is a content disclaimer. Very briefly, this is just telling you that, hey, everything it contained in this webinar is the property of Nadex. Any recording, reproduction, republication, distribution, broadcast, all of that, you are not allowed to do that without our express written permission. So basically, if you guys have ever watched a sporting game here in the United States, it's probably at the beginning of all the broadcasts as well. So you might recognize it, but I'll give you a second to read through this also. All right, we'll move on here. So let's jump right in. Let's see this new platform. So let me bring up my screen here. All right, so you should see in front of you now the homepage of our website. So a lot of you come here fairly often, and first, and I guess one of the more important things here is how to actually get into the new platform. It's fairly simple, and probably a lot of you have seen it already. You go up to our login button, our login screen here. So the same old one that you used to get into the old platform, but you will see a banner across the top here, and you can click this Join the Beta button. And this is going to launch you right over. Oh, that actually launched me right in. I'll show you the actual login screen before I get into the platform here. So here is the login screen that it will take you over to. I was just getting a little ahead of myself and already had logged in before. So you can log into either your live or your demo account. The new platform will work on either, and you can use basically your same login credentials that you use to trade on the old platform as well. So I will sign in again here very quickly. And there we go. Now we are into the new platform. So this is a screen you'll first land in. It does look a little bit different than how you land into our old platform, but you will see that you can basically trade all the same products that you already trade here at Nadex. So first of all, we'll just go over some brief little navigation bits. You can see on the left-hand side here, this is going to be our main navigation window. So you see across the top, you have your binary options, call spreads, and touch brackets. And you see when I click through them, I see the different market classes available to trade underneath, obviously. If your 5-minute and your 20-minute are going to be down here at the bottom and not under forex and indices, respectively. So let's just jump in, and I'll click on one of these just randomly, and you can scroll down. You can see again all the market classes that you're used to trading on Nadex. They're all going to be contained in this screen here. And just randomly, let's pop one open. I'll choose the Aussie dollar for this contract here, and we can see. My beautiful screen here. It actually looks like I have a little bit different colors on my chart already, and that's something we will get to a little bit later in the webinar. I'll show you how to actually adjust those colors. But for right now, you can see that when I do click on a strike price or I click on a buy or sell button, it is going to pop open that chart directly in the middle and a deal ticket on the right-hand side of the platform. So that very simply, that's going to be how you bring everything up and begin trading on the platform here. As always, you can always change your strike from the left-hand side. You can change it from directly within the chart as such, or obviously you can change your direction on the deal ticket. So fairly easy and fairly similar to how we used to do it on the old platform as well. This may look similar to you as well and to anyone that has used our Nadex Go mobile platform before. Kind of breaking down the binary into a simple question: will Aussie dollar US dollar finish higher than 0.6700 at 3 a.m.? Again, I won't really explain the actual contracts today, but if I think it will, I would obviously buy this contract. And I think it's not going to, or it's going to finish exactly on this line, I could sell the contract. So let's real quick, I can place order. And hey, I just got into a contract, and you can see my nice confirm come across the top of the screen right there and then disappear. And now if I want to, jump into another one, I'll show you, you could change your market to a limit, you could change your order type, you could change your price. So, I could change that up to 90 or so if I only want to get in one that's at 90, and I can change my size. And so I can, again, place the order there. And as always, you can see the market depth and see the entirety of the book and not just necessarily the top price of the book. So that's very briefly how you're going to navigate through the deal ticket, through that new deal ticket there. We then, obviously, as you may have seen, as I clicked through that, I saw them come up across the bottom of the screen. So these are my open positions. This is where when you actually enter into an open position, it's going to show across the bottom. You see first it says type, binary options. Obviously, if it was a call spread or touch bracket, it would say call spread or touch bracket. It shows the name of the contract. It shows the indicative here as you move across. We did try to place the indicative a little bit closer to the actual strike in the contract, just so it's a little bit easier to see where the indicative is relative to the contract and where relative to the contract strike and where you need it to be above or below at expiration. We also have the expiration time, so that's going to be tonight at 3 a.m., or I guess technically tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. You see your time left. I have about 12 hours and 52 minutes left before the expiration of this contract. I see my position, so this +1, and it's going to be in blue, is still going to signify that I have one buy side or one long position of this contract. See my average price here, that's what I pay for the contract of $53.75. My current $51.75, so that's what I could currently sell out of the contract for. And I have my profit and loss, which many of you know, but if you subtract your price you paid from the current price, you're going to get your profit or loss. You also have the total profit or loss down here at the bottom. So if you have multiple contracts here, it's going to total that current profit or loss up for you very nicely. And many of you probably remember, so let's select a different strike here. If I actually click on the position in the open positions window, it's going to bring up a ticket in the opposite direction of the one I already have, and that's going to allow me to actually get out of my position quickly or as quick as possible, always, of course, given that someone's willing to take that contract off my hands and willing to actually pay me back for that contract. So moving on over to our working orders window here at the bottom, we do have, again, our type binary options. It's very similar to what you'll see on the position screen. So we have our binary options here. We have the indicative again. Big difference here, we have the size and then we have the filled. So you can see here for the size, because I put 5 sell side or short side contracts in, that's going to be in red rather than the blue there. And then the filled is going to say 0, so that's just denoting obviously how many are actually filled. None have filled yet. I still have 5 working orders out there. I have the price of my working order and the current price of the market, which again, you can see jumping up and down right here on that strike. And then the last window on this sort of bottom navigation, that's going to be my 24-hour history. So this is going to be an order history where I can see what I've done over the last 24 hours. Now, while I'm on the screen, I do want to talk about something very quickly because I think we're probably going to get a few questions on this. So this is the first part where I'd like to just go into that this is still a beta. We're still working on increasing the functionality of this, on adding new features, and as such as it's still a beta, we wanted to get out early to get all of your feedback on it as early as possible. But there are still going to be features that aren't in the platform yet. one of the big features, right, is something longer than 24-hour order history. So you can see your 24-hour order history there. Anything longer than that right now, you are not going to be able to see in this platform, but we were working on putting that in soon. So this is one of many, and I will talk to this again at the end, but is one of many features that we know that this platform needs, but we just don't have it yet because we wanted to get it out in front of all of you in a beta form and just get your feedback on what you see already so we can keep developing this platform so that it works for everyone. And very last thing I'm going to do on our basic navigation, then I might just take a couple questions, kind of take some questions throughout the webinar here. I'll show you how you actually hide these side panels. So anywhere you see these double arrows, you can click this and you can hide all of these panels to the side. So very simply, I just hit all the panels. Now I have my chart very, very largely in front of me here. If I want the markets tab back up, I can click markets again in the top left. I can click my open position, these double arrows to bring that back up. And again, selecting a strike price is going to bring my ticket back up. So very easily to close it if you want to, reopen it if you want to, very easily to sort of navigate through that. So that's going to be the very basic navigation of the side panels. Very quickly, I'll look over some of the questions we have here. Let's see. Full screenshot of a chart. Actually, I will go over the full screenshot of the chart in a little bit. And actually, we have a little bit of improved feature to do that. If you want to do a full screenshot of your entire screen, you can always hit your print screen button on your computer and then paste that into a Word document. That's just not even really a platform trick, but a little computer trick for you there. How do I refresh the market? Let's see if we have any other quick questions here before I do move on. Don't want to spend too much time because I will answer questions at the end as well. You can still select your select your strike price from a list, like in the price ladder that we have on the left hand side here. So that still does exist. All right, so I think that's, can you tariff a ticket? I will talk to that a little bit later as well, but that is actually one of those beta things that, as I said, we still do. We know that you guys as traders want to be able to tariff tickets, tariff charts right now. Right now, it's not something you can do, but we are definitely, that is one of the higher priorities for putting that into the new platform, tearing off the tickets, doing multiple tickets as well. So I'm gonna move on here, but I see there are some other questions here. If I didn't just answer your question, it's either because I'm gonna go over it later in the webinar, or I'm just saving it for the end because I think it'll sort of fit at the end of the webinar a little bit more. I will answer more questions. So moving on, we do have our charts here. So I'm gonna just hide these panels quickly. And in this part, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of our charts. I know a lot of you do use charts, but not everyone does. So I'm going to give a very brief overview first. At the end, I'm going to go back and show you all of the new features because a lot of our new features that we currently have in this platform now revolve around the charts. So I'm going to do a quick one now, and then if you are a heavy chart user, definitely stick around for the end because I will show you all of the features on our charts. The charts have changed fairly significantly. First of all, you can see, I'll go into the strikes here. So you can see the strikes look a little bit different than they used to on the old platform. They are now yellow, and you can see the strike a little bit cleaner on the side here. And if I pull it down, I can see even more strikes. You'll notice, first of all, that if I have a strike, if I'm in a position on a contract, my strike was going to turn black. So the strike line here, you can see I'm in a position. It's going to look a lot like, and actually I'm going to turn my HLOC off. I'll explain all of what you just saw in a second. I'm going to turn that off so you can see a little bit better. You still see here on the left-hand side, you're going to be able to see your open position. So I still see my profit and loss here, my +1 buy side, and above 0.6700, and I still see my working order. But any contract I currently have an open position in, that strike line is now going to show black. Any contracts I don't have an open position in, even when I have a working order in, that's going to show yellow. So you should be able to very quickly see across the chart what you have a position in and what you don't. Also, if a strike is selected, it will be a solid line. So see how that line just went from dotted to solid, and if it's not, it's going to be a dotted line. So that's going to be the same is going to be true for if it is a position, an open position strike, or one you don't have yet. So see it's dotted line, solid, right? So sort of trying to give you guys a little bit easier graphical representation of what's actually going on the strikes on the charts at any time. How you actually navigate through everything on these new charts, like putting indicators, drawings, etc. On the old charts, you would have left-clicked and a banner would come up across the bottom. That's no longer the case, so I'm left-clicking now. Got a little tongue-tied there. Left-clicking now, and no banner across the bottom. So all of your intervals, charting tools, showing, hiding information, that's now going to be in one of two places, either across the left-hand side up here at the top, or, and this is actually how I always use it, instead of going across the left-hand side, you can now right-click on the chart, and it's going to give you all of your, everything you need for the chart right here on this right-click panel. So this is actually, I always use the right-click because I think it's a lot faster. If, say, for example, I'm doing something down here, I'm on a strike down here, I don't have to go all the way up to this left-hand side. I can simply right-click on the chart. I want to see everything I could possibly want. You see obviously top nav, right click nav, and real quick, and I am going to go over all of this at the end again, but I'm going to show you one other thing here. So you see I go down to show here, and you might notice next to some of these options, I actually have little letters. So I have a P, an O, and a T next to open positions, working order, and timeline. What do these represent? Well, these are actually going to be a new feature we have called basically hotkeys. So keyword hotkeys for getting these things on and off your charts. So let's say I don't even want to right click and go down to that. I just want my open position. I don't want it to show anymore. I want this chart to sort of be smooth and not show that. Instead of going all the way here and going open position, clicking like that, I can simply hit the P button on my keyboard, and that's going to hide it. Hitting that again is going to bring it back up. Same thing with my working orders. If I hit the O button, my working orders disappear. Hitting the O button again brings them back up. And on the bottom, I have my timeline here. Hitting that T button is going to hide the timeline. T is going to bring that back up. If you ever forget what those are, you can always go into the menu, and it will show you on the menu what those hotkeys are. It does take a little bit of time to learn these hotkeys, but once you get good at them, it adds a lot of speed to your charting usage. Same things for the intervals. The intervals you can reselect with your different hotkeys as well. So if I'm selected on the chart, and let's say I just start typing any number, I can start typing 1, it's going to bring up this interval screen right in the middle. You can see it defaults to 1 minute. So if I just type in 15, it's going to say 15 minutes, right? So no M or anything needed on the end. But if I type in 1H, it's going to give me a 1 hour interval. And if I press enter, it's going to actually change the intervals of my candlesticks. So I'll show you all of them. I'll go through them real quick. So let's do 1. So obviously 1 with nothing on the end is going to give me 1 minute. I could do 1 second. It's going to show me 1 second candles. 1T is going to be tick. I can do hour. I can do day. So those are going to be the different time frames. And again, it probably is going to take you a little bit of time to learn, but you can see them all here in the interval window. And as I've traded on these charts in the last few months, as we've been sort of internally testing these, I've gotten a lot better at using these. So I just set 30. I can see my 30-minute window, and now I don't have to go through the hassle of just going up to the top top left, clicking, and coming down. So anyway, I would encourage learning those if you want, because it does make navigating those charts a lot quicker. I am going to show you very quickly how the strikes look on some of our other products. So basically, we've been looking at a binary so far. We do have the strikes changed a little bit, and actually, let's go to an indice here instead of doing a forex for my indice people out there. And we can go down. Actually, the indices have been dropping today, so let's make sure we get one that's in a relative range here. So if I select an indice, so you'll see similar to the binaries updated strikes, we have the yellow here. And if you actually click on one of these, you'll be able to see the floor and the ceiling, floor and the ceiling of the indices, of the call spread as it's selected there. So, and you'll see also that the ceiling and the floor are going to be blue if I actually obviously have the sell side selected. if I have the, buy side, wow, I'm just all tongue-tied today. Buy side blue, right? Sell side, the top and the bottom are going to be red. So that's going to be a little bit more visual representation for you guys out there to see what's actually going on the chart itself. And obviously, if I want to enter in one of these, I can always press the place order button there. And moving along to touch brackets, they show a little bit even differently from the side there. So let's just choose a couple of these. You can see as I choose these, I am actually selected across the left side here. I'm actually going to move out to a little bit longer time frame so you can see this a little bit clearer. So all of your touches are going to be across the left side here. So that's going to be a visualization of them all. So you could click on them and you can see where the floor of the ceiling of the touches are. So we wanted to basically make sure all of our products show a little bit differently on the charts. So this is going to be how you can navigate around to there. You can see it's not actually opening a deal ticket when I click on these. You can always either click on them from the side here, or alternatively, you can go up, click the buy and sell on the top. That's going to give you your deal ticket. And if you would like to get in there, place order. Very simple, just like the rest of your contracts. So that's going to be how the three different products actually look on the charts. I'm going to very quickly just look over if we have any specific questions here. We do have a question. Can you open two charts, Euro USD and Aussie dollar US dollar, for example? Not right now. Again, that is something that we are looking at, and we know it's a very heavily requested feature. So that's one of the things we want to put in very soon once we get everything out. But again, wanted to give you guys this new platform, and we will definitely keep you guys aware of any new features coming out. All right, I'm going to keep moving on here. So again, there's a lot more to do with these charts, but just because we might have some non-chart users on the webinar here, I'm gonna move on through the rest. But at the end, if you are a chart user, please stick around because I'm gonna go way more into detail on all of the charting options because a lot of them have changed or improved. So getting on a little bit further here. We'll go into the My Account section. So a section you'll probably realize if you have traded a lot on the old platform. I can go up to the Account section here. So it's going to be in the top right-hand corner here. And you'll notice that when I actually click on this, it looks a little bit different now. That's the first section you're going to see coming in here is this account balance section or account overview. You're going to be able to see your available to trade, your position value. So if any of you out there don't know what a position value is, it is the value of every contract that you currently own right now. So the three contracts that I'm in at the bottom here, and let's just lift this up here so you can see the value, the total value of the three contracts I'm in. Those are going to add up to this $401 here. My reserve, my $55, that's because I have a working order sitting out there. So that's going to be the price that I'm trying to get in on my working order. It's reserving those funds. And it's going to show you my total profit loss. This large bar here is going to show you all three of these just in a sort of nice graphical format. So your available to trade is going to be this larger bar, this very small one here because I'm on a demo account. And right now my position value is a very small part of my overall 25,000. That's going to be your position value. And then you can sort of see here that very small yellow sliver, that's going to be your reserved. If I only had $1,000, $500, $250 in my account, obviously you're going to see a lot more of this, a lot more of this taken up by your position value and reserved balances. Also on the left-hand panel, or the left-hand side of this My Account panel here, you can select your residential address. So and this is just a demo address here, but if I want to change this, very similar to how I used to be able to do it, hit edit. And if I want to say I don't live in Chicago, Illinois, but I live in Tradeville, Illinois, I can save my changes there and very quickly save that. And of course, you have the opportunity to say my residential address is also my mailing address or add a new one in. Contact details, you can change these as well. Obviously, these are just fake contact details that I made for this webinar account. Remember to always have your contact details updated in case we need to actually contact you for any reason. it could be important. You can also see how to get in touch with us. So inside the US, to go talk to our great customer service representatives, you're going to call this number. Then abroad, this is the one is going to be a better number for you. And as always, you can email us any inquiries down here, customerservice@nadex.com, or if you need to write to us or fax to us, that information is going to be there as well. So very easily, you can see that. And then we get down to our feedback section. Now, this is one of my favorite sections in the new platform, not because it's any kind of new cool feature, but it's where you can actually tell us about any of the features that we've put in so far, and you can tell us what new cool features you want us to add in. And so I do want to harp on this just for a second here while I am here. This is a very important part of the platform simply because, again, this is a beta, and why we have released this in a beta stage where there are still things that we know we need to put in but haven't put in yet, but we've released it early so that all of you traders can start trading on it and that we can get the best idea from all of you about what we actually need to put in so that we can make this a better platform for all of our traders out there. I am very passionate about trying to make this the best trading platform for everyone out there, and personally I would love to get to a place where our platform is as customizable and you can personalize it as much as you possibly want so that all of you traders out there can have the best experience in trading back and forth. So to get to this feedback, obviously you go to the My Accounts section, or because it's so important, we give it its own little button here at the bottom left. Hit that feedback. You're going to be able to tell us here. So anything you want, again, please let us know, and we will do our best to put it in there. I will say as well, because we are working on a lot of things. We are looking at all the feedback you send in. Me and a couple other people on my team, we do read it every day, and there's quite a lot, but we do read through all of it. If we don't respond right away or we don't put in what you asked for right away, please know we are working on it. It's just that, we have to sort of prioritize things by how much everyone wants them. So we'll try to get everything you want in there, but we got to do one thing at a time here. So just bear with us because we are trying to add in all the features that you really want onto this new platform. So I think that's enough talking about the feedback section there, but please give us your feedback. And just moving on to the next little portion here. And I do have a quick question here that I just saw come across, so I'll answer this because it is sort of in the point that I was just saying. Transaction history, not in yet. Right now, it's just going to be this 24-hour history, but kind of going back to this is a beta, and we wanted to get it out early. We know we need to put in a longer transaction history. It has simply just not been built yet, but we are working hard to build that. So it is coming, but for right now, it is not in the platform. So moving on, and I do see some other questions out there. Again, I'll answer the rest at the end. We're going to go to the bottom left here, and we're going to just quickly look through our settings. So this is where you're going to find your trade settings. So they're all still going to be down here at your bottom left, and you'll be able to obviously change things like your tolerance, so your tolerance for your market order with protection order types, your default order. I can change a market, change the limit, or my contract size. Let's say instead of 1 contract, I always want to get it into 10. Change it like that. You can see it just very simply it gets like that. Or if I want to change it back, very, very easy to change around on those settings there. So I think that's fairly self-explanatory, but that is going to be in the bottom left of the platform. So I will very, very quickly here talk about, because I know I have been talking a lot about new features, right? New features that we want to put in and new upcoming features. So I'm just going to take a second very quickly to talk about a couple features that, first of all, we are currently working on and will be there in maybe a month or so or next couple months. These are ones that are currently being developed. And then a lot of the features that we have already heard from you traders out there, because you have not held back from giving us your feedback so far, and we do love that. So first, we are putting in a lot of the features that are obviously not in here yet, but we know would need to be. Things like the transaction history, things like our monthly statements, resetting your password. Basically, all the things that we know need to be in here, but basically just haven't gotten around to yet. especially stuff like document upload. You'll notice you actually can't upload documents in this new platform yet. We are currently working on getting all of those in. So everything that is in the old platform, we are working on getting in the new platform now. That is our kind of our first priority, just because we know that's very basic functionality. We know everyone needs to be able to see their log history, reset their password, upload documents. So that is all coming in. We're all working on it now. More upcoming features that we want for a little bit further in the future, but we have had some discussions here about putting those in. Dark mode, I know that's one that we get a lot, and we are looking into it. We do want dark mode in there. So that is one I'm personally very excited about, because when I stay at the screen all day, I really want it to be dark and not white all the time. It will obviously be selectable, so those of you that do like a white screen, you're not going to be forced into dark mode. We are building that. We are looking into features like I saw one-click trading. Someone mentioned that in the question. That is on our roadmap as well. That's probably a little bit further back, but we are looking into things like that. Tear-off charts, tear-off tickets. We know we need those in, and we have gotten a lot of feedback that we need those. So the ability to see multiple charts, multiple tickets, tear those charts off, tear those tickets off, that is on our radar too, and we would like to add that in fairly soon. And something that I know people have been asking about for many years here at Nadex, stop losses. Yes, we are looking into how to do stop losses. Believe it or not, it is sort of complicated to make sure that stop losses work with all of our products. So we are making sure that we do our due diligence. We're taking our time to make sure that these order types will work with everything, but we are looking into them. So I'm not saying they're going to come even by the end of the year, but I will say look out for them in the future, because again, we are looking into them. We know you want them, and we will try our best to get stop losses into this new platform. And everything else you guys are talking about, there's a lot of little features, a lot of little updates that we do want to put in here. As you guys give us feedback, our priorities will probably change. If everyone is saying we want one thing, well, we probably should give you guys that thing. So definitely continue to give us feedback, and we will try to change our priorities around to give you guys what you all want most, guys and gals. Sorry, I don't want to be excluding anyone here. All right, so that is going to be sort of the overall overview of most of our new features here. I am going to dive back into the charts quickly though, before I get to the end. So just getting back into the charts here, because there are a lot of features on these charts. I'll pull up my full chart here. Actually, let me get back into this Aussie dollar one, simply because I think we could see a lot of the strikes and everything here. So I'm going to full screen this guy, and let's look at our charts here. So going a little bit more in depth to these charts right now. You can see they have changed a little bit, and you might notice from here I've made my candles yellow and blue. I was messing around with that yesterday. But you can do a lot more with our new charts as well. So like I said before, top left, you can select all of our new charting features, but I am definitely partial to the right click. So the right click, and we talked about the strikes, right? Let's go into our indicators here. So you can still see all the indicators here. I think it's in a little bit more of a easier to see format here than on our old ones. It was a little bit harder to navigate through. So all of the indicators that you had on the old platform, they are going to be here, and we are even looking at adding a couple new in, although that is, again, we're having to talk about which ones, but just a little sneak peek. We are looking at adding more in for those of you that like some of the other indicators. You might notice though, as I scroll up and down this, the one I'm selected on, it has this little eye on the right-hand side. So let's say that I'm a newer trader and maybe I don't know what my exponential moving averages are, which is obviously fine. You can actually go over and hover over this little eye. It's going to give you a quick explanation of more of like a dictionary definition at the top of what your EMA is, your exponential moving average. And then it's also going to give you sort of just a little bit more down here at the bottom. So I can do this with all of the indicators now. So any of you out there, you don't know what any of these indicators are, you're not going to have to go to Google or search outside of that anymore. You can simply just hover over this eye. You're going to get a little bit better view of what these are. If you do want to learn more, because learning more is always great, learning more than what we have here, you can definitely Google it, or we are planning on putting them on the website as well, a little bit more in depth for some of these. So just real quick, I'll show you. I'll put one of these on. Let's go with our Bollinger Bands here. So I'll add the Bollinger Bands in, and obviously they appear red on my chart. You can see the yellow kind of clashes with the yellow of the Bollinger Bands. If I want to change that, let's say I don't want my Bollinger Bands to be yellow because, hey, that's what my charts are looking like, or sorry, what my candles are looking like. Well, I can go down here and click on this, see where it says Bull 20 and 2. So first of all, clicking on that is going to give me some options for my Bollinger Bands. Now, this is something I'm actually very excited about. On the old charts, basically are the things like the period and standard deviation, the Bollinger Bands, things like overbought, oversold periods in the RSI, things like the MACD in the exponential, or the EMAs and the MACD. Those were always pre-selected and you couldn't change those. I'm very happy to report now you can actually change those. So period, I can do 2. I can put my standard deviation to, let's just say I put that out to 3. It's pretty wide standard deviation. I can change my upper and lower, it looks like. So it's probably better doing green upper, red lower, right? But I can change that. I can change the moving average, or the moving average line there in the middle. I can change the fill, so I can change all the colors, and I can really make this look. I actually think that looks very eyesore, but if I liked how that looked, I can change that all, and I can simply apply that, and that's going to stay there. So now I have my Bollinger Bands with 25 period, 3 standard dev, and nice new colors on there. You can do this with all of our indicators. If I wanted to put another one on, I talked about RSI earlier, so I can put my RSI on instead of doing my usual 70-30. Let's do my 75 and 25, right? So you can change these. You can change the colors. So I am very excited about that just because it gives a little bit more functionality to what you can actually do. And you'll see that I just clicked that little X there and I X'd out, and that removed the indicator from the bottom of my chart. So that's going to be a little bit more customization that you can do on your charts for the for the indicators here. Going over to drawings, we have much the same thing with drawings. So a lot of our drawings are a little bit more self-explanatory, but let's say, hey, I don't know what an arrow does. Oh, well, now I know it's an arrow. It can highlight specific points of interest on my chart. And there we go. I really wanted to look at this strike right here. Now I can see it. Same thing with any of our other drawings. I'll do it at the top just for those of you who might want to look at the top. If I want to put a channel on, I can do that, right? And so I can put my channels on. Oop, I can drag this. Well, I know I can drag this, but so I can put my channels on, I can put my arrows on, and I can do them from here as well. And if I don't know what a channel is used for, well, you can see here, you can see it's used for resistance and support levels. So even the more advanced ones, Elliott waves, Fibonacci retracements, if you aren't sure what those are, you could see in here. And then at my bottom, I can delete all my drawings if I no longer want those drawings on my chart, and they're gone. And if I do that quick enough, hey, I can undo it. Let's say I don't like that anymore. Actually, I'll keep them on there for now. So then moving down this menu here, we do see our different types of charts. We can see the ones that we all know and love from the old platform: candlesticks, lines, HLOC, and mountain. And we actually have one new one here. So any of you that wanted the Heikin-Ashi candles, I know some of you have been asking for that. Now you can add those to your charts, and you can see the Heikin-Ashi type as well. You might notice when I did that, it actually changed my candles back to the green up and red down. And you actually can change the appearance of those for each different charting type. For those of you that might not be sure what the Heikin-Ashi chart type is, I'm not really going to go over that right now. I think that we might do another little brief explanation of that. But I would definitely, before you use those, go do some research on them. And if you already know exactly what they are, feel free to jump on there and start using those candles or this chart type as well. So that is a very new one that I'm very happy to have on the platform here. Going down, I can, just like I used to be able to, change my ask, my bid, the price for my ask, my bid, my last traded. So you can see when I actually do this, now my candles are showing the ask price instead of the mid price. But I like the mid, so I'll go back to the mid. Moving down even further, this is actually a new feature as well, scale. So what does scale mean? Right now I have it on linear, which means that over on this right-hand side, it's showing me the indicative price, or basically a ladder of the indicative price going up, and I can see where the charting is based on this. If I want to say, oh, I want to see how much it's moved since the first point of my first candle over here, I can click scale. I'm sorry, I can click percentage underneath scale. See, so, and that's going to line up now. Right now, this 0%, because we're basically back right where we started, it's going to show fairly evenly on at 0% at the end. But I will tell you, this 0%, it's based on what's over here. So let's say that earlier in the day, Aussie dollar was up here, but now it's down here. It would show like a -%, and it would be down here on the chart. So you can see how much the market you're looking at has actually moved. So it is a pretty useful tool. And while I'm kind of clicking around over here, I will show you that we didn't used to have this either, and this is very basic, but something I'm very happy to have. When you move your chart up and down on the, your cursor up and down on the chart, it's going to show you where the indicative, or sorry, where the actual price of your cursor is, right? So as I move up and down, I can see that now. So very, very small thing, but something that I wanted for a long time, so I'm glad we have it. I'm going to change this back to linear, but just know you could change this percentage and you can sort of see the percentage change over time of the market you are looking at. Going on here, we have show. So you saw me sort of look at this earlier to turn off my HLOC because my high, low, open, close data was it's kind of covering up what I'm trying to show. But if I want to turn it back on, I can see my high, low, open, close for all of these candlesticks. I'm going to turn that off again just because I think when I'm going by, it's easier to see what my cursor is going to. You can turn your drawings on and off, so you can stop showing them. Your indicators, you can stop showing them or show them again. We did the open position, so you can click them here, or again, P, O, and T. You can go and obviously show your price change and your price line. So there's a little down here at the bottom right is the price change, and show your price line as well. Let's go. Okay, so then we have layouts. So the layouts here, let's say that I always like looking at my Bollinger Bands, and I don't know, let's apply my EMA as well. So let's say I always like looking at Bollinger Bands and EMA. But every time I want to come in, I don't want to have to put my Bollinger Bands and EMA on, and maybe I like looking at my EMA and my Bollinger Bands at 25 period 3 standard dev, and my EMA at 25, 55, 105, just randomly showing you this. So if I wanted to always do this, I can actually save this layout, and my name is Adam, so I'll just save it as Adam's layout. And I can save that. So now let's say I take off these, I can take these off here. So go back up to my indicators, take off my Bollinger Bands, take this off. And now if let's just go randomly, let's do a commodity. We haven't shown any commodities here today for my commodity traders out there. Oh, looks like they're not, we'll show one of these. So we'll go to commodity here. And if I want to actually now apply this layout, apply, I'm going to apply Adam's layout, and there we go. There's my Bollinger Bands, there's my EMA, and you can see it kept my Bollinger Bands to this 25.3 point, kept my EMA to the 25.55, 105. So if you always have your specific charting setup that you really like to do, definitely save it as a layout. It's going to save you a lot of time rather than trying to set up your charts every single time you go into and go onto a new chart. Then obviously I just showed you how to apply it, and let's say, hey, I hate Adam's layout actually. This Adam guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to delete the layout, so you can obviously go and delete the layout. There you go, and deleted it. Now if I go to apply again, it's not showing my layout any longer. So very, very sort of self-explanatory, but those layouts are going to be right there, and they are very useful. I actually use them on my own demo account all the time, but this is sort of a webinar account, so you won't see my specific layouts right here. We can go over to, and I'm going to take this back off. I'm going to go back to my Aussie dollar just because that chart is looking a little bit cleaner right now. But of course, this is not saying to trade this. This is just because I like how the chart looks right now in front of me. Okay, so Let's go down to customize appearance. So earlier you saw my candlesticks and they were yellow and blue. How I did that was going down to my customize appearance here, and now I can change this. So let's say I'm sick of blue. Well, first of all, let's say, okay, I tried yellow and blue. I don't really like it. Well, we can just restore this to default. So this is going to be the default that you always come in for your candlesticks here. And if I want purple for my bodies, and I want for my rising bodies, and I want yellow. I did yellow before. Let's do orange, or yeah, it doesn't really matter. But we can do these for our following bodies in line. We can obviously change the colors here, so change it to whatever colors you like. You can show your grid in a different color, right? So very easily to do that. The watermark down here, that's going to actually show the watermark of what you're trading. So I'll go apply this. So when I click the watermark, that's going to show my Aussie dollar, US dollar in the background. And if I don't want to do that any longer, turn that watermark off. I don't want the grid. I can turn the grid off. Right, so you can really fully customize how these charts are going to look, and as you move through, you can customize each one individually. And if you ever say, oh man, I really messed up and all these colors are weird and I don't like them anymore, just reset to default, you get right back here. So very easy to see how to customize your chart appearance. We had someone earlier on the call ask a question. If I want to just see a picture of my chart, how do I take a screenshot? Well, I said you can, okay, if you want the whole thing, you can hit the print screen button. But what you can actually also do is you can very easily now pull up a picture of your chart. So let's say I got this just like I wanted, and I want to save this for future analysis. I can go down to the export chart button at the bottom of this. I'll click my export chart here, and you can see in the bottom left of my screen, it actually just saved this as a picture file. So I'll open this up. Oh, looks like that opened on my other screen here. Bear with me 1 second while I pull this up so all of you can see it here. So I'm pulling this up onto my other screen, and there we go. That's my beautiful chart, and I can save this. I can, send it to somebody. I can, I can show other people what I'm seeing, or I can just say, okay, I liked how I set this up, or I like something I saw. I saved the chart. Very easily to do here. It actually is going to save it just as a picture. So very easy to actually export a picture of that chart. A couple more things, just a couple quick last things on these charts. Let's say I'm clicking around here, and I'm actually going to take my indicators and drawings off quickly. So if you want to take all your drawings off, you can delete all drawings here at the bottom. So I also have the candlesticks up here. So I want to do a daily candle, and then I can go back to a day, a week, a month. I think we actually just had someone in chat ask about this. How about the daily, weekly, and monthly charts? Well, if I want to see them here you go. If I want to see a year back, I can see a year back here, and with these are going to be daily candles. I can see 3 months worth of charts. So fairly easy to do. Now, let's say I go out a year, but I really want to scoot in here. You may notice as I'm zooming in using the scroll wheel on my mouse, and you'll see as I zoom in, it's actually sort of resizing the chart to where I'm going, right? So it's resizing the chart to show me all of it. But let's say I go up here. Now if I zoom in and out, I'm no longer resizing to the chart, right? So now if I do this, it's not actually resizing and showing me something on the chart kind of moving with me. It's not moving me back into the past any longer. Well, what if I want that feature back? What if I want to get that again? This little button up here, it's going to take you. So let's say I go all the way back. I can click this button. It's going to do two things. It's first going to take me to the latest price. So it's going to take me all the way to the front to the latest candle. It's also going to get me back in the view where if I scroll in and out, instead of going in and out like this, see how it's different? Now if I scroll in and out, it's going to scroll me back into the past, and it's going to auto zoom my chart around the candle. So just a little bit easier to go back in the past. And then on here, if you want to zoom in, you can zoom in like that, zoom out like that as well. And then always the latest price here. But just remember, if you get off this, your scroll wheel, now it's just going to zoom in and out. If you want to get that auto zoom out feature back, hit that latest price, and you can see there it's working a little bit differently. So if any of you are confused by that at all, you can always ping me a question or send us an email, and I can answer that a little bit further. we can, and that's actually really going to be most of what I have to show you guys here today. So thank all of you who are sticking around. I am going to answer a few questions here, so don't leave quite yet because I do see some questions still coming in to the chat here. So let me quickly, I will go and look through some of these. I'm going to try to answer all of them, but again, if I don't answer all of them, we will get to them a little bit later on. I'm going to pull up some info for you here. So that's the disclaimer. I'll go over this very quickly, but here's our support lines, and I'll read through this, but basically I'll leave this up while I'm answering questions, so if you do want to send us any other ones. I have a question here. Can we access the chart on the weekends? Yes, you can access the platform on the weekend. You can access all our charting on the weekend. Oftentimes, though, in markets that don't trade on the weekend, there will be a gap. So, like on certain markets that don't trade at all for our underlying over the weekend, let's say the U.S. indices, right? The U.S. indice future contracts. There's not going to be too much trading on them. There might be a gap between the last trade Friday, first trade Monday, right? So just when trading is halted, you will see a gap in the actual charts, but yes, you can log into the platform on the weekends and see the charts. How long will the old platform be available? Great question. So I know that this platform, it doesn't have everything you want right now, or what some of you might want right now. Some of you may love it. I don't know. And if, hey, you love it, you hate it, tell me through the feedback. We will keep the old platform up for a while. I will say, and this might be, I know some of you might love the old platform. Eventually, we will not be supporting the old platform anymore, but don't worry, that's not going to be for a while. We are right now, it's just still in the beta phase of this new platform. We need to make sure everything works, not works correctly from a trading standpoint, because it does work correctly from a trading standpoint, but just make sure that all of our new features we're adding work, that we have everything in there that makes everyone able to trade. And even after that, we're probably going to keep our old platform open for a little while. I will say we don't have a hard shutoff date yet, so that's going to be someday out in the future. So if you like the old platform, you are fine to continue using it. I will say, though, it might be good just to get in, just to start clicking around, learn the new platform a little bit, because we will eventually switch over to this one. But before we do, we are going to try our very best to put every feature that you like about the old platform into the new one. I know also some of you out there, and I'm sort of like this as well. When you see something new, you say, "Well, hey, I've learned this old platform. I've used it for years, right?" I do the same thing as well. But honestly, I think when you learn this new platform and after we have all the features in, you're going to like it more. But it always is a little bit rough to learn something new when you've been using something old for a while, and I do understand that. Going back up through some of our other questions here. I've answered a lot of these, but I'll just see if I have if any of these other ones have not been answered. Let's see. More than one chart, right? We're working on it. Stop loss is working on. One-click trading, we do want to have one-click trading in the future. And again, all these things are probably coming a little bit further in the future. Tear off tickets. Looks like I may have answered. I am trying to. Yes, there are still 2-hour trades for when the person out there that asked that. Looks like most of these I actually went through and answered here. I'm not seeing any of the rest of these. There were quite a lot of questions that came through, but a lot of them were very similar, so I did try to answer them all as I came through. Oh yes, you can already trade on the new platform. So on the demo account and on the live account, you can place your trades. If you want to make sure you learn it first, obviously go through the demo. But if you do want to trade on the live account, you absolutely can do that. You can still also trade demo and live on the old platform. All right, that's really everything that I am seeing here in terms of questions. I'm very sorry if you asked a question and I didn't get to it, but if I didn't get to your questions today, or maybe you're watching this webinar on demand a little bit later, because this webinar will go up on our site and we will be able to email it out to those of you that attended. You can always send your more questions in. So anytime you have any questions or problems, anything like that, you can always call our 24-hour client support on the screen in front of you. There's the phone number up there for you, or email someone over on the customer service team. I know all those people personally, and they are great, so they will always be willing to help you out. Account specialists, there's a different number for those. Those are going to be helping out a little bit more if you are newer here. They do specialize in helping out newer people. You're still going to get great service if you call the customer service, but they are account specialists, kind of deal with a little bit of our newer traders. And then questions and feedback on this webinar specifically. So if I didn't get to your question today, or if you're watching this in the future and you want to ask us another question, you can email us, asknadex@nadex.com. I'll be looking at that box just to answer any of your questions on this webinar. You can also follow us on Twitter at Nadex, which if any of you have Twitter, I would say that's probably a pretty good thing to do because we do updates there. But if you have a question for us there, tweet us at hashtag AskNadex. That's going to be how we see that this tweet is about a question on the webinar. This is going to be, that's kind of the wrap up here for our new platform. I really hope that you guys all like our new platform. If you don't like the new platform or there's something that you need on it, please, again, tell us because we want to continue improving this for you. And please remember, it is a beta, but we really hope we've made something here because we have a lot of people that worked hard here on this platform, and we really hope it gets to a place where all of you like it.